Right. If I were to go in to pitch this to someone and I was pitching it to the two of you and you both said, we don't like this and this and this. So would the open and workable response from me, i.e. the writer, be great, I can come back and change it, and could we meet again with the notes?
Depends.
Okay.
The
I
first
would,
thing you have to do, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean, I would not say that. I would say, what parts of it didn't you like? How would you like to see it done? Because if they haven't started the creative collaboration, maybe I can start it. And so if they say, well, I see it, working much better with for a younger market, and I'd like to make these, mid-teens, I'd say, oh, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah, then you could da-da-da-da-da-da. And the more I can get you involved.
Is another trick that we learned from someone who's not in the book, my mentor, who is in his 90s now, but sharp as a tack. And he used to go in and pitch like ongoing series. And let's say, but you always, by the way, you're never going to go to a pilot meeting and have one pilot idea. And you're going to have somebody who's more powerful than you, or you're not going to get anywhere. And you're going to have an agent who got you in the door, unless you're very lucky. And I'm not sure that's luck, because you do need someone looking out for you and protecting you. But the other thing that Peter's always said, and this I think comes from his science background, is try to find out what kinds of things that producer, that executive likes. Because if you go in and pitch them Westerns and they hate Westerns, you're dead before you open your mouth. And that's maybe more for movies, I don't know. But
But just to follow that idea, if you have an idea for a Western and you know that they've made a movie about an orphan and that really touched their heart, then you make sure you have an orphan in your Western so that you have a way to connect.
Or if you're like me, you try to find out what directors they admire and then find a Western that director made. So, for example, if you know they like Martin Ritt, they think Martin Ritt is the greatest director, find some way in, I guess is what we're saying. And the other thing is, when they say no, move on. Don't argue.
Never get defensive, never argue.
Yeah, because you never want to go in with one idea. You're going in with one idea, you're asking. Unless, obviously Aaron Sorkin, they're going to come to Aaron. I mean, there's a group of people they go to. Pilot writing is almost, in my experience, and I think it's the same as it is now, is almost never done by beginners. They want to go, and it makes sense for them, right? So if, for example, you pitch this to a showrunner, the only way you're going to get it made, because you don't have any, I'm not talking about you in reality, I'm talking about you, this person who hypothetically pitched this.
Right.
You're going to want somebody who really knows what they're doing, or they will bury you. And they'll make a bad deal with you, whoever it is. You want someone who's got some chops and some power.
Can we slip in a little bit of pedantry for just a moment?
Oh, please. It's my favorite.
pedantry?
I don't know what it means, but it sounds good.
comes from academia again.
One of my favorite books is a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. It's probably the smartest book I've read in the last 30 years. And it basically has the thesis that we have two modes of thinking. One where we get very, very rigorous and think very hard and deep, and the other is we think intuitively. And we make just about all our decisions intuitively. And what's kind of interesting is that when we're forced to think deeply, which we don't like to do because it's hard, not only are we thinking deeply, but we're cranky as we're doing it because it takes a lot of our resources, and we're kind of skeptical as we're doing it because we're forced to think hard. It's not in our regular way of looking at things. So when I'm pitching something, I'm thinking, how can I keep this so that they're intuitively accepting everything I do? I don't want to put them in a place where they have to go contrary. So if I made some controversial statement, like, I've got this idea for a horror film because we know that everybody secretly always wants to do terrible things to the people around them. And somebody says, wait a minute, I never want to do terrible things to people around me. The minute I've got them at that point, I've lost them. And I have to now find instances, and then they're going to negate them, and we're arguing, instead of finding something they're going to agree with right away and say, most of us like, the easy way out when things are really pleasant. And so we make decisions like, yeah, I do that. Yeah. And then they're cruising along with me and I've got a better chance. The minute I make them skeptical, I've got a really tough mountain to climb.
Right.
The fellow who wrote this book, Daniel Kahneman, is a Princeton psychology professor who won the Nobel Prize for economics. It's a brilliant book. And I get no royalties from it, which hurts me.
No, it's already a big
but I praise it anyway. Thinking Fast and Slow.
Book. It's a great book.
But it just makes that really good point that anything that you're saying to somebody that seems like it's within their realm of possibility that they can accept without arguing, you've got an easier sell than if you're stopping and saying, well, imagine this. I can't see that ever happening.
I just want to come back to something you said. You said they'll bury you if you don't. Can you
what
go
I
into
mean
what
is
that
that what a lot of people don't want to see, I can't say all people, who are experienced, is an inexperienced person, especially a young person in their early 20s, coming in and doing something that's above their skill level. They know what you don't know because they've been doing it. Even junior executives who have a very short lifespan know that. And you always want to dial up. You always want to bring somebody with you who knows more than you do and can believe in you and help you. Those are also great partnerships. I'll give you an example. I also told Peter this story this morning. I had a student 2 years ago. I also told him that I'm going to look like the hero of this. I'm really not. This is just my job.
He's the hero in all his stories.
Somebody has to make me the hero somewhere. I'm the villain everywhere else.
You can say, "How are you?"
That's true.
Start
How
with
are
Wind
you?
Beneath
And
My
people
Wings?
say, "Sorry,
No?
busy today." I think that the best example of this is I had a student 2 years ago who was the best joke writer. 21 years old and had done a lot of improv, but very young. And she could work on, which is just what you want in a room, she could work on other people's scripts and go, this would be a great joke. And they would all come from character and conflict. And she said to me in the beginning of the year, because it was a 2-semester course, she said to me, I'm going to come out of here at 22 and I'm going right onto a television series as a writer. And I said to her, I hope not. And she got really mad at me. And I said, A, you won't be ready. B, they'll eat you alive. And C, they'll resent you. And so what you need to do is pay your dues. And then she found this program that Second City in Chicago had started a grad program in Harold Ramis's name, in his memory. And she applied and she got in, and she's just graduated in May, I think, or she has maybe 6 months to go. She's got one more semester. And she is like a different kid because she took her time. You don't want to so I guess to go back to your question is, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you will get killed, because they will kill you. They have so many people to see, and they're looking for things that they can sell. It's still a business, no matter what it's on. Even PBS, people go, British television, PBS, it's so high quality. It is, but it's government supported on the BBC. So, we'll see things like The Crown and things like that, or Downton Abbey that we can't, we rarely see here, except now we're seeing it on Netflix. So I just think it's always a good idea to dial up. Don't try to be, when you're young, don't go in and pretend to know. Get people to mentor you, I think, is the best advice I've ever been given, and it's the best advice I could give and take your time, because you want to be in it for the long haul. You don't want to have like a gold strike and be done by the time you're 25. This girl, if she'd done what she had in her head, she would have been finished at 25. I think, how many, if you look at Orson Welles' career, his later career, even though he made some great movies, he didn't have the career he had at 26. He was too young, but he was a genius, so that doesn't really count. But